I've always wanted to make a game for the Nintendo 64. But for so many years, that was nearly impossible to do. You either had to make a ROM hack of a game like Ocarina of Time or Super Mario 64, or you had to use Nintendo's proprietary software. And on top of that, the console's 30 years old now. So, that's it. But then years later, I stumbled upon a video titled Tiny 3D Custom U-Code for the Nintendo 64, and that piqued my interest right away. I dove into that video, I went to the source, joined a Discord, found information about how to actually make a game for the Nintendo 64, followed the how-to, loaded it all up, and saw my first quad.
Dear God, it's beautiful.
And from that point onwards, I was going to make whatever the heck I wanted on the Nintendo 64. I've been thinking of a video idea. I wanted to create Elden Ring on the Nintendo 64, but I also didn't want to derail my development of the game I'm working on. And then a 2-month-long game jam competition pops up for the Nintendo 64. So I immediately messaged my buddy, and the idea was to create a really good boss fight, a polished boss fight in the aesthetic of Elden Ring, with the mechanics of Elden Ring, that we could translate later to our game if we wanted to. So then we got started. We had 2 months to create a really polished boss fight, and I didn't want us to use any of the stuff that we had been working on prior. I wanted this to be completely from scratch for this project. And on the N64, from scratch really means from scratch. There is no engine for the Nintendo 64. After recording this clip, there actually is an engine for the Nintendo 64 now called Pyrite 64, links in the description. There are some libraries that you need to pull from that have taken years of development just so that we can make a game on the Nintendo 64. Huge shout out to those guys. However, the game engine still needs to be from scratch. And I even wanted to make the music. So that's what we did. Now, right away, we had to create a character controller, we had to create the environment, we had to create some music, we had to create a title screen, there was just so many things that we had to do. So to break some of it apart, I worked on the designs, music, and collision system mostly, while my jam partner focused on programming. So then how would we go from this to this? Modeling the environment took a lot less time than I thought it would. Setting up the characters didn't take that much time either. Optimizations had to take place at the end, but we'll get to that later.
Whoa, what?
I chose to use black and white images for everything in this game so that I could push the limitation to be 64 by 64 instead of 32 by 32, which gave me double the texture resolution. And then I used vertex colors, which gave us the shadows and the colors in our textures. The animations proved to be a lot more trouble than we first thought. It took many, 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 many days. And then we had to figure out how to blend between the different animations. And of course we needed one of these.
Oh, no.
This took at least 3 weeks of the entire timeline. It almost took an entire month of the time just to get the animations looking good. And even then, I'm still not entirely happy with how they turned out. But it still looks good, considering that this is the Nintendo 64. So after we created the boss AI and the boss animations and the boss room, we needed a cutscene. In Elden Ring, there's always a cutscene where the boss is introduced, and I didn't want to cheap out on this. And historically, we didn't have the luxury of using a video on the Nintendo 64, so I wanted to make this a non-pre-rendered, fully 3D cutscene. And for that, you have to program every individual change in movement, which also proved to take up a lot of time. So then we made 2 of them. We had a functioning game now, but we needed a title screen. So this is what I came up with. Anticipating the fight, standing there ready to walk through the door. And when you press start, you walk through the door and then the cinematic starts. And this was it. We had our game. We only needed the ability to kill the boss. But it didn't end there. We ran the game on the Nintendo 64, the physical console, and it was a disaster. Okay. The game ran at a solid 15 frames a second. I had no idea what to do. This was going to be weeks of work optimizing this game, and we only had 2 weeks left, and we still wanted to add more. We wanted a good ending scene. We wanted a second phase, but we had to just start cutting at this point. So I worked on optimizations of the boss. I got his triangle count down from 1500 down to 700. I got the character's triangle count down to 600. I played around with render orders until the game finally ran smoothly. And with only a couple days to spare at this point, we had to test the game, see if it was even difficult enough. Spoilers. It's very easy. If you're a Souls player, this game is kind of a joke. So we made a hard mode, we made a normal mode, and then we got some friends to test it. Don't panic, just...
I did it.
We spent the next day testing the game, dialing it in, and then we still had 24 hours to go. So we added in the ability to walk around the room and to leave the room into a final cinematic cutscene, which is a video that plays on the Nintendo 64, which was previously not possible on hardware. And the ending cutscene of this game is the opening cutscene of the game that we're working on. You'll notice that this isn't exactly a recognizable Elden Ring boss stage. It's entirely custom, characters made up, the story is made up. It's actually part of a story for the game that we're working on. These events take place in that game, however, the gameplay style and the aesthetic is different than the other game. So now that we had a fully functional game, nothing left to do but submit. Within 1 minute of the deadline, the game was submitted, and here's what we ended up with. hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If there's anything that you want to see in future videos, please leave a comment down below. This is my first video, so I really don't know what to expect. You can follow the development of Pickle 64 and any side projects that might happen in the future. Links in the description. You can join our Discord, and thanks for watching.